I would never actually do this, like ever. But I think it's really important for people to see how words actually affect people because it's really fucked up.
Nicole Kidman watched Blake lively sabotage Sydney Sweeney in the coldest, most calculated way imaginable. But Sydney didn't fold. She refused to sign the NDA, and that single quiet act sent shockwaves through the entire industry.
Star Sydney Sweeney broke down in tears on an emotional live.
What followed wasn't drama. It was Blake's quiet, calculated replacement.
Why is this happening?
We're talking March 2024. That dinner, the one that looked like a harmless girl boss hangout, was actually a covert intervention lit by soft candlelight. Picture it. Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, and Sydney Sweeney seated at a single table in Brentwood. No press, no PR captions, no ladies who lunch post. Just one blurry photo leaked from a casting assistant's private story. And Sydney? Bless her. She really thought this was the moment. Her I made it dinnered. IT wasn't. It was a rescue mission, and she was the one being pulled out.
Notice that they will do anything and everything to be.
Sydney was sitting there, nervous, grateful, probably thinking, wow, I'm finally in the room. What she didn't realize was that she wasn't invited into power. She was targeted by it. She was in that room because someone powerful, someone blonde, someone suspiciously obsessed with curated feminism and allergic to other women winning, had her in the crosshairs. That someone? Blake Lively. And, of course, the universe gave Reese a heads up first. Not from a producer. Not even from a friend. The warning came 8 hours before the dinner, from a brand partner. Translation: someone with money and influence. The message? Blake's people are circling Sydney. No context. No emotion. Just a red alert transmission straight from PR war rooms. And really, is there any female powerhouse in Hollywood Blake and Ryan haven't tried to quietly dismantle? This wasn't Reese or Nicole's first ride on the lively merry-go-round. They've seen this play before. It's the Blake Lively classic. Latch onto a younger, buzzworthy actress, smile for the sisterhood PR photos, then slowly reroute all the attention back to herself. By the time the headlines shift, the other girl is a footnote. It's not mentorship. It's a one-woman Hunger Games for attention, and the capital is Blake's Instagram grid.
Enough time with this family to speak about personal relationships and who they really are, how Blake Lively is displayed today in the media as a diva and someone who just tried to steal this movie and so on. All of that is true.
So Reese does what any seasoned Hollywood queen would do. She doesn't freak out. She doesn't scream into her Hermes bag or issue passive-aggressive statements to the trades. She picks up the phone and calls Nicole. Because when you see a storm forming, you call the only other person who's survived worse. And, between the two of them, they've weathered more PR hurricanes than most execs even know exist. And then came the most savage line of the night. Reese leans in and tells Sydney, calm as ever. If Blake's team reaches out, smile. Be polite. Then forward it to me. Not run. Not don't respond. Not block and delete.
No.
Reese knew exactly what game they were playing. The message was simple. Don't engage, just observe. Let Blake hang herself with her own fake feminist rope, and just like clockwork, Blake didn't even wait 3 days before making her move. Not even 72 hours later, a glossy, studio-grade pitch deck lands in the inbox of a major streaming development exec. The title? A limited series. 2 female leads. Starring, surprise, Sydney Sweeney. Written by Blake Lively's team. And oh, mention of Reese. No Nicole. Just Blake and Sydney, like they were reinventing Big Little Lies minus the actual talent, direction, or, consent. Blake pulled the oldest PR scam in the book. Attach yourself first, sort the paperwork later. No approvals. No contracts. Just decks flying through inboxes like she already had a green light. It was classic girl boss sabotage. Fast, reckless, and wrapped in soft pink branding. Sydney? Blindsided. She texted Reese immediately. Immediately. The exact message: I didn't sign anything. I don't even know what this is. Let that sink in. The supposed lead actress of the pitch didn't even know the pitch existed. Meanwhile, Blake was feeding the story to media contacts like it was the second coming of prestige television. Industry insiders were already whispering. Internal memos at the streamer started circulating. Guess whose name was listed as the creator and star? Yep, Blake. And guess whose name was conveniently missing? Sydney. What do we call that?
Praised for how beautiful she is, how ideal looking she is, was brought to tears by so.
Then came the press seating shuffle. You know the drill. Unnamed sources whispering to Deadline, Variety, and every power-wired outlet that plays the game. Suddenly, there's talk of a prestige, female-led drama in development by Blake Lively, featuring an unnamed Gen Z actress. Oh, please. We all know what that really means. I'm hijacking this girl's momentum before she even realizes she had it. Meanwhile, Nicole and Reese were set to appear together on Variety's Women in Power panel the following week. That panel vanished, quietly scrubbed from Variety's website. No cancellation notice, no press release. Just poof.
Gone.
And it happened exactly 3 days after Blake's pitch leaked online. Coincidence? Come on, but Nicole and Reese didn't go nuclear. They didn't rage post or leak statements to the press. No, Hollywood silence hits different when it's coming from women who actually have power. They didn't need drama. They set a timer. We control the next 90 days, Nicole reportedly told a close contact. When those two decide to play long game chess, it's over before you even find your heels. Word is, Reese and Nicole had already been building something with Sydney long before Blake swooped in trying to slap her brand on it. This wasn't retaliation. This was preemptive war. The first tactical move? Pulling out of the Variety panel. That event had been hyped to feature Nicole, Reese, and unnamed female creators. But the second Blake's project leaked, the panel got ghosted. No trace. No apology. Just erased like it had never been scheduled. Nicole didn't post. Not a denial, not a cryptic lyric, not even a blurry boomerang from her hotel suite. Nothing. Because when you've already won, what's left to say? Blake thought she was playing chess. What she didn't realize is that Reese and Nicole were playing Jenga, pulling out support beams, one by one, until her whole narrative collapsed. And Sydney? She didn't need to clap back. She just stopped clapping. And sometimes, in this industry, that's the loudest burn of all. If you're wondering whether Blake saw it coming, here's a clue. She posted a behind-the-scenes studio clip days later, captioned, "It's not about the noise. It's about the work no one cared. No one liked. No one reshared. Not a single tag from anyone on the team. Even the bots were bored to oh yeah, keep posting about women supporting women, Blake. Just don't act surprised when the only woman left supporting you is yourself." By April 2025, the industry hadn't canceled Blake. They just started pretending she didn't exist. And it didn't start on Twitter. It started deep inside the Slack channels of her own glam team, not tabloids. Not Twitter mobs. Her own stylists. That's how far the respect meter had dropped. One leaked internal message said it all. Pull her visibility. No retweets. No reposts. No branded hand-holding. Just silence. And if you think getting dropped is harsh, imagine being erased so quietly that even your reflection forgets your name. While Blake kept posting sad, behind-the-scenes thirst traps, Nicole was 3 chess moves ahead with Apple TV+. Behind Blake's back, miles behind it, Nicole pitched a nearly identical concept to the one Blake had dangled over Sydney. Except this one had real paperwork, real meetings, real support. And none of Blake's thirsty fingerprints. Sydney got top billing. Reese's company was already embedded in the production notes like it had always been there, because it had. Blake? She was never in the room. And now she was locked out of the building. Sources say Reese just pulled 3 development meetings tied to Blake's new project. Not ghosted, pulled. Reese isn't going silent. She's going surgical. Then came the quietest mic drop in recent Hollywood memory. Apple TV Plus updated its Q3 internal preview slate. No press blast. No glossy headline. Just a leaked screenshot quietly circulating in agency inboxes. There it was. Nicole.
Sydney.
Reese. Project title. Inheritance. The group chat chaos? Immediate. Wait, wasn't that Blake's project?
No.
It was never her project. She was never officially attached to anything except her own fantasy. Naturally, Blake's team panicked. They called Apple. Apple didn't even pick up. Not a "we're unavailable," not a "we'll get back to you." Just dead air. Then they tried another angle. One of Blake's shared stylists, someone who'd worked her last 2 red carpets, was asked to amplify visibility. They left her on read. That's the thing about power in Hollywood. When it leaves the room, it doesn't slam the door. IT just stops replying. With both her and Nicole on the carpet, maybe they could get some intel. Maybe someone would finally talk. But even the stylist brushed past them. That's when it hit Blake. Not just the loss of a role, but something deeper. She hadn't been sabotaged. She'd been strategically erased. This wasn't some messy tabloid takedown. No one slammed the door. They just stopped building rooms with her in mind. The calls didn't come. The emails dried up. And suddenly, the future wasn't something she'd been excluded from. It was something that had evolved completely without her. Then Nicole and Sydney did the one thing Blake had always feared other women might do. They won. Without hurt, IT started small. A deleted Instagram story from a costume designer. Gone in minutes, but not before someone screenshotted it. A script on a coffee table. 2 names on the cover, Nicole Kidman and Sydney Sweeney. The title? Inheritance. Cue the meltdown. Twitter lost its collective mind. Film Twitter, somehow crueler, was even worse. Wait, Blake's not even in this. Isn't this the one she tried to hijack? Yes. Yes, it was. And now it belonged to the women who had earned it. Then came the leak. A pitch deck from 2023, suspiciously well-timed. Receipts, dates, emails. Clear as daylight. Nicole and Reese had been developing Inheritance long before Blake even learned Sydney's name. Which meant Blake's supposed girl boss takeover had been just that, a performance. PR fluff. A power play with no power behind it. And with one link, her whole feminist empire collapsed. All pastels, filters, and curated sisterhood captions, undone in seconds. Her team scrambled, of course. Soft statements were issued. Blake is prioritizing creative direction over visibility. Sydney is a dear friend. Translation: please don't look at the receipts. We are begging you not to look. Only one journalist even bothered replying. And their take: this isn't a damage control story. Blake's moment is just over. You could practically hear her publicist scream from across the country. Then the final blow landed. Quiet.
Precise.
April 14th, 2025. No teaser. No press tour. No fake brunch photos with feminine rage quotes in the captions. Just a silent update on the Apple TV Plus press site. Inheritance starring Nicole Kidman featuring Sydney Sweeney. Executive produced by Reese Witherspoon. And oh, Blake. No mention. Not even a token special thanks. That's how brutal it was. Hollywood didn't exile her. They just redesigned the world without her in it. Rewrote the guest list. Changed the locks. Then acted like she never knocked on the door to begin with. IT wasn't a fall from grace. It was a quiet burial. No flowers. No service. Just silence. And maybe she earned it, because you can't keep dressing control in empowerment language. You can't manipulate through pastel PR campaigns forever. Eventually people notice. Eventually the stylists stop tagging. The brands stop posting. The algorithm moves on. People started asking, why didn't Blake's last promo get reposted? Not by the glam squad. Not even by the assistant makeup intern. Nothing. Just silence. That's not PR fatigue. That's a message. She wasn't pushed out.
She was outpaced. Outclassed.
Outgrown by sharper actresses, smarter producers, and women who didn't just talk about supporting other women, but actually did it. Nicole, Reese, Sydney, they didn't drag her. They didn't even comment. They just built something better. And let Blake Instagram herself into irrelevance. She still showed up that April red carpet like it was 2016. Dress steamed, smile stapled, hair curled. But no one cared. No tags. No brand credits. Not a single post. It was like watching a deleted scene walk the carpet. Technically present. Emotionally erased. And the worst part? She didn't even realize it yet. 3 days later, Apple TV Plus dropped the official trailer for Inheritance. The internet exploded. Nicole and Sydney, equal billing. Cinematic fire. Reese, cold-blooded and quiet, listed as executive producer. Blake?
Gone.
Not recast. Not cameoed. Gone. The trailer caption? What's inherited isn't always wanted. Subtle? Not at all. Savage? Absolutely. That one line said more than all 300 posts on Blake's Girlboss grid combined. Fans instantly decoded it. Wait, is this shade? On record?
Yes.
Yes, it is. This wasn't a PR oversight. It was strategic omission. And every second of that trailer screamed, we moved on. We did it better. Without her, meanwhile, Blake was still clinging to selfies, trying to squeeze relevance out of one more curated shot. Some say she overheard something. Others think it was just jealousy. But it doesn't matter, because when Hollywood closes the door quietly, to her, one gossip podcast finally got bold enough to do what others wouldn't. It asked one of Blake's former PR insiders to spill. And oh, he did. His quote went viral in under 4 hours. She built an image. But you can't control the weather.
Poetic.
Brutal. And prophetic. Because she played herself. And just like that, Blake Lively went from headlining red carpets to being dissected in PR classrooms under the unit titled, When Soft Girl Aesthetic Becomes Weaponized Narcissism. While Blake spiraled into Pinterest purgatory, Sydney Sweeney was quietly writing a masterclass in how to win without saying a single word. And Blake? Oh, she couldn't take it. Somewhere in April, Sydney received a charming little go-away package from Blake's PR team. A hush money deal dressed as a friendly offer. One-time payout. 18-month NDA. Total silence. Cute. S.O. How did Sydney respond? With the most savage move imaginable, she asked one question. Did Blake send this? The PR rep didn't answer. Just smiled. That kind of smile you give when you know the house of cards is collapsing. Sydney didn't scream. She didn't tweet. No notes app monologue. She just didn't sign that refusal. It set the internet on fire. Reddit. TikTok. Instagram. The phrase she didn't sign hit 2.2 million mentions in days. Deleted trailers resurfaced. Fan edits featuring Sydney went viral. The same media Blake once manipulated into silence was now obsessing over every frame that used to include Sydney and mysteriously didn't anymore. This wasn't a comeback. IT was a resurrection, and Sydney didn't even have to tweet. Then came the Beverly Hills moment. The photo. Sydney, barefaced, in sunglasses, sitting across from Reese Witherspoon. No glam squad. No paparazzi alert. No stylist in sight. Just two women talking. That blurry image shattered the internet, because anyone with half a brain knew what it was. It wasn't lunched. IT was the blueprint. Within 24 hours, 3 separate casting trackers flagged a new Apple TV Plus limited series in pre-production. Nicole Kidman producing. Reese directing. Sydney leading, and Blake. She didn't even make the rumor list. S.O. What did Blake do? She clapped back the only way she knows how, cryptic Instagram captions over sun-drenched wine glasses. Some people chase truth. Others sell it. Like, girl, what is this? A breakup quote from 2012 Tumblr? Nobody cared. The comments weren't kind. They were clinical. She didn't sign. Is this about Sydney? Stop. Even her fanbase was exhausted. When your own curated aesthetic starts working against you, maybe it's time to log off. There is one thing truly powerful people can't accept, and even more powerful people won't tolerate. The truth, they'll do anything to cover it. And then came the real humiliation. April 29th, 2025. Glass Chapel. The Netflix film Blake had spent months trying to stitch her brand onto, quietly dropped out of the top 10. No final press wave. No blooper reels. Just silence. Even Ryan Reynolds doing his usual charm tour couldn't revive the numbers. Why? Because fan edits featuring the cut Sydney clips were outperforming the official trailer. That's what happens when you try to replace the woman audiences cared about with beige wallpaper and a brand DLO and the Ryan twist. He slipped in a hot mic moment during a press call. Ryan confessed something no one had on their 2025 bingo card. He called Blake his beard. Suddenly, everything started making sense. And it didn't stop there. Ryan's next film project hit a financial wall. 2 investors dropped out. The reason? A leaked quote from an internal PR call. There's a perception issue. It's becoming sticky. Translation: you tried to ghost the wrong girl, and now the ghosts are haunting your bottom line. That's the price of playing whisper games in first class. AS for Blake's big redemption arc. She had a glossy PR interview lined up for April 30th. Flattering lighting. Pre-screened questions. A comeback quote probably lifted straight from Goop. But guess what? She bailed. The official line: we're choosing to move forward in silence. That's not a strategy. That's surrender. And the real kicker? The editor she ghosted published the piece anyway, without her, and it read like a eulogy, not for her career. That's still clinging to the edge of a Dior gift bag, but for her relevance, which, honestly, same thing. While all this imploded, Sydney was already back to work. Not in LA. Not on a studio lot. In rural North Carolina. Shooting an indie drama. Produced by Nicole. Funded by Reese Premise. A woman quietly rebuilding after an invisible war. You couldn't write a better burn if you tried. And oh, screaming. No lawsuits. No exposés. Just silence. Blake's name quietly disappearing from press kits. Sydney's name quietly penciled in. The internet didn't cancel Blake. They outgrew her. And oh, hashtags. No trending Twitter fights. Just silence. The kind that makes people panic. The kind that says, you're not the villain. You're just not the story anymore. And Blake? She didn't fade like a scandal. She faded like a memory because in the end, she wasn't pushed out. She wasn't forced out. She got replaced, and that's always worse. Blake didn't get canceled. She got erased. And trust me, Hollywood noticed.